Welcome back to the Social Experiment with Sunny and Shay.
Now, today we are discussing a taboo subject which many people across the country have been discussing on social media and even on our shows on BBC Radio London. We are talking about interfaith and interrace relationships. Just to give you the definition between the two. Interfaith marriage or relationship is, of course, when two individuals are from different religions. For example, earlier on we gave the example of a Muslim person marrying a Christian person. Interracial relationship is when both people could be from the same religion but they're from different backgrounds. So for example, two Christians, one is Indian and one is English, get married together. Those are the differences. Before we went to the break, Mr. Blue was very adamant and he said that for him interfaith relationship would not be possible for him personally and his perspectives. Let's bring in Miss Red on this though. Miss Red, what do you think about people getting married from different religions? At the moment, nearly 1 in 10 couples are now ethnically mixed, which of course includes their religion as well. What's your perspective?
I still think it is quite difficult for, obviously, as we've discussed, an interfaith marriages. Like interracial might be a bit easier because you're just sharing cultures, but as I said, religion is the way, like what you believe in, and like the way you're going to bring up your child, it probably will have an effect. Like if you have a Christian mother, she might want to take you to Sunday church or wherever, and if you have a Muslim father, like you'd probably have to learn Arabic and like how to read the Quran, go to mosque, etc. So like the mixture of that might confuse the child, but as like it does give them the option to like choose which religion, but obviously it would be very like confusing for it as well.
Mr. Green, with this situation, if it was happening in your family and someone brought in someone from a different faith, how would your family respond to that?
I think it would be very welcoming.
Okay.
You'd have to understand, again, like, you know, they're coming from a different background, different religion, whatever you can do to make them feel comfortable.
That's nice.
And obviously, you're gaining knowledge. I mean, again, it depends on the individual themselves.
Right.
You know, how willing are you to learn? That's the most important. I mean, you can marry someone today who don't know how to cook.
Right.
But then it's no good if she's not willing to learn.
But why does the woman have to always learn how to cook? Why
No,
can't the man
that was just an example. I'm just saying same
for the bloke.
Yeah,
Okay,
same for the guy is exactly the same for the guy, and same with the cultures and tradition and even religion. Like you said earlier, we don't learn a lot about religion. I don't think we learn a lot about religion in schools. So I mean that's one way of getting closer to other cultures, other religions, and you know.
Would you yourself actually marry someone from a different religion to you?
Again, like Miss Red said earlier, obviously a lot of issues with these kind of things are to do with religion. In our religion, we have that one condition where the person it could be anyone you're marrying, it could be Christian, anyone from a different culture background, but then you would necessarily need them to convert to Islam.
Okay,
so now that's a little issue. I mean, I wouldn't force anybody to do that. I mean, I'd probably still get married. Obviously, do as much as I possibly can for them to bring them into my religion, just so that, like she mentioned again, for the kids, you teach them a certain way of life, and you only want it to be one way of life, not like 2 or 3 different paths. But
Mr. Blue, that's where you are saying that these are the kind of issues that you don't want to face when it comes down to interracial in your family. What about
interracial is cool.
Interfaith, sorry. So if someone was to do that in your family, bring someone from a different religion, would you still be accepting of that? Would you be okay if one of your family members converted to, say, the different faith?
If one of my family members...
Yes. So
are we talking immediate family?
No. We're just talking about in general family, however you want to take it.
Okay.
Is there a difference if it was from someone immediate or if it's a bigger...
Well, because I'm Asian, so by default I've got a million cousins I'm not aware of.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, fair enough.
But what I'm saying is, if you're talking about immediate family, so let's just say someone in my house, or blood.
Okay.
And are you saying for someone to step away from Islam and go to a different religion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Personally, no, I couldn't fathom that. I couldn't accept that.
Why could you not accept that?
Because of my beliefs growing up, born Muslim, living Muslim, I just couldn't. If someone in my family was to, let's just for an example, well, I won't give no example because I don't want to offend anyone.
No, of course.
But just to convert to a different religion. Not any specific, just a different one from Islam. No, I couldn't. I couldn't accept that.
But how would you feel then? Let's say, for example, there's been a lot of debates. We've seen the documentaries across all the channels, even on BritAsia TV. We hear a lot about, unfortunately, and I think this is a big unfortunate thing, but you will hear a lot of issues and arguments that come about if you talk about Muslims and Sikhs getting married. If both individuals are saying they don't want to convert, they're happy within their religion. How do you feel about that?
Me personally,
Yeah.
If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But obviously, you're asking me how I'd feel about it. I just think that I don't know. I don't really sound like the most positive person right now. But
No, it's your opinion.
I'm a great guy. But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to me
Yeah.
how I grew up.
Right.
Okay.
With my family, with my grandma, my granddad, like everything that I know of. That's all. It's nothing.
Okay.
I'm not trying to offend anyone.
I completely respect that, and I think everyone won't get offended. It's about your opinion.
Yeah.
That's what this show is about. So you don't need to worry about that. But Miss Orange, you completely disagree with this, don't you, with regards to having a different religion and getting married?
She says.
I don't. I'm honestly in the fence, and I'm trying to look at it from both sides.
Yes.
So I don't necessarily disagree nor agree. So, I mean, I totally understand.
Where
Mr.
Mr.
Blue.
Blue's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on your right. Yeah.
He's on my right.
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from.
What about when we talk about the future and we talk about, living in Britain, and we have an identity as well? We are first generation. Our parents came here and obviously had to adopt and do a lot of jobs that, meant that they had to take on the British culture, the English culture. And as a result, as we try to find our identity, as we go through this country and find out where we are religiously as well, do you think that makes a difference on how we maybe choose our partners? I'll go with Miss Red first.
I think not as much for us, because obviously we see a lot of diversity, like amongst not just our community, but like all over the world probably.
Right.
But like you could say that there's gay marriages are more popular,
More
now,
accepted.
More accepting.
Yeah.
So I'd say interracial marriages are just as accepting. So in my own generation, I think it's much more accepting than it would be in like the generation above us.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's way more accepting in our generation, I think.
Yeah.
And is that the right way forward, in your opinion?
I think there's one thing like agreeing with it and one thing accepting it. Like if you might not agree with it, but obviously if someone in your family does have an interracial marriage, it doesn't mean that you don't have to accept it, because obviously they're still part of your family. Like as Mr. Blue was saying, even if you change your faith, like they're still your family. So accepting it would be like the right way to go. Like you should be on their side and stuff.
What do you think to that, Mr. Blue?
Is she misunderstanding what
Yeah,
your
I
attention?
don't think. No offense at all, but I don't think I said what she.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Just clarify, because
I didn't. Well, okay, my mind's just gone blank now.
it's all right.
I think she just said that.
You would
I
be
said-
accepting if someone was changing their faith.
In my family.
Yeah.
No, I said the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So you would cut them off completely?
Cut them off is a bit strong. I would probably spend the first phase just being really confused and baffled about it,
Right.
and then the second phase, because and I understand you're asking me this question, but because I just really can't envision it in my family, it's very difficult for me to answer.
That's fine.
You say that, but I mean, hold on a second. If we were to give you an example here, and everyone get involved, and at no point do you have to wait for us to ask you this. Is it a shame factor with regards to family? Sometimes it's not even about religion. We've seen a lot in this country, as I mentioned earlier, 1 in 10 couples are now ethnically mixed. As much as you may say, I can't see it happening, the truth of the matter is we're all British, we're on Brit Asia TV. At some point, your child or your child's child is going to interact with someone who may well be, let's say, for example, Asian. You are, for example, of Muslim faith, and they meet a Sikh person. What happens then? Are you saying that as much as you'll be baffled at some point, you've got to make a decision? Do you speak to that person if they decide to stay married and get married to that other person? Or do you say, this is not what I believe, this is not what my family has believed for years and years, I'm no longer talking to you?
This is not what I believe, and this is not what my family believe. I've only got one sibling, I've got an older brother, so let's just throw him in the situation now, yeah. With him, I couldn't He's my brother. You get me? I mean,
You'll always love him.
so do you get me?
Mm.
He's my brother. So at the end of the day, of course I'll always love him, yeah, and I'll always be there for him. It just won't never be the same. 100%.
So would you attend the wedding?
Would I attend the wedding?
Yeah.
I'll be in the back, right at the back.
Okay,
So you would attend. Very quickly, what do
No,
you
no,
wanna
no, I
say?
wouldn't. No, wouldn't. No.
Oh, you wouldn't?
You
Okay,
would
right.
attend. Okay.
No, look, listen. Underline, if you're Muslim in my family, immediate family, and you change religion, no, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Okay. Miss Orange, what did you want to say to that?
To do with the marriage topic.
Yeah, whatever you want.
You tackle it in a very simple manner. I mean, okay, so for example, somebody who's coming into your to becoming a Muslim, and say for example, intercultural.
Yeah.
Bengali, Pakistani.
Yes.
Okay. You have both cultures. They're different, but they stemmed from the same place. There's no logic in dividing them. I mean, why don't you
find similarities?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You take it back a notch. Allow all the mumbo jumbo of all the weddings. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit expensive for me.
Okay.
It's ridiculous spending 50k on one day. Anyway, so
that's another discussion. I'm
I
sure.
don't know. It's okay. So why don't you just take it back a notch? Take it back to the Prophet ﷺ, his day. You know,
Yeah.
Marriage was very simple. Take it back. You know, bring it back to simplicity. Why don't you just allow the culture clash? You know, with the whole big wedding and stuff. Just have it in a mosque. You know, don't allow the day that brings two families together to be tarnished with culture clash.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
I agree.
continue speaking and getting your perspectives. If you'd like to give us yours on Twitter, it's #SOCEXP.
We'll be back right after this break.